All right, everyone, get in here, sit down, and shut up. We've got stuff to talk about. It's that time again for my picks of the week. We're going through every single NFL game for Week 11. I'm going to tell you who's going to win, and you're going to have to listen to me because I'm never wrong, except for the few times that I am. Now, in my previous videos, I have only been sticking with the money line picks, just who I think will win each and every single game. We'll continue to do that, but I am seeing more and more comments asking me about the spread, asking me about the over-under. So I thought, hey, why not dive right into that? So I'm going to throw in, along with my money line picks, a against the spread pick, as well as what I think the over-under might happen with the score there. Now, keep in mind, all these lines can change between now and Sunday. So if you do see something that I get wrong with the spread here, or the over-under based on what I have, according to my notes, definitely leave a comment down below. I will respond to anyone who comments, and I will be happy to give my opinion. If some sort of information you have is different than what I provide here, we'll talk about it, and I'll make sure you get my opinion if you really want it. Now, before we go any further, I must let you know, I am no professional gambler. In fact, if I had to guess, I have lost much, much more money than I have won gambling. Now, I just do it very, very casually, very, very low amounts of money. I have not done anything extensive. So please take anything that I tell you about my opinion with the biggest grain of salt you can find. Do not think throw your house on this because I can't promise anything. However, I will tell you that I spent a large amount of time creating a formula to give me what I feel the score might be in the upcoming games. I'm pretty happy with it. Looks pretty good to me. Of course, as the weeks go on, if we need to tweak it, we'll tweak it. Make sure it's perfect as best we can get. But I do have, I have a system here, and we're going to go through it. We're going to stick to it, and that's how I'm going to give you these answers. So let's get right into it. All right, our first game of the week, we see the Commanders heading to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles in Thursday Night Football. This is why we watch the regular season, for games like this. 7-3, 7-2, NFC East. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. I think I did see an interesting stat. The Washington Commanders have lost 3 football games. Week 1, they lost to the Buccaneers, who technically didn't have a winning or losing record, of course. Both teams 0-0. But their other 2 losses, Ravens and Steelers, who had winning records at the time, their only win this season against a team with a winning record was against the Bears, who were 4-3 at the time. They're beating bad teams. And that's all you can do. I mean, in the NFL, that's all you do. You make sure you're beating all the bad teams, and when the good teams come around, you hope you can pull through. With that said, I like the Eagles. I can't see the Eagles losing this football game as much as I hate the Eagles. I'm going to be rooting for the Commanders because I just can't stand the Eagles. But let's look at the so that's money line pick. I like the Eagles. Eagles money line against the spread. I have a 3.5 point spread, but I'm showing the Eagles winning by 5. So I'm taking the Eagles against the spread. The over-under I saw was 49. I have a score of 51 total points. I'm taking the over on that one. So we've got the Eagles money line, Eagles against the spread, and taking the over. Next up, we've got the Packers heading to Chicago to take on the Bears. I love this game. It's up there with I know they're not in the same division, but 49ers, Cowboys, Steelers, Ravens, Commanders, Cowboys. You just love to see those teams play football for some reason. At least I do. It's the games that meant something when I was growing up, seeing these two teams play. And this rivalry here, I mean, is there an older one in the NFL? I don't really think there is. I can't imagine there is. But I do think the Bears are a bad football team. As far as money line goes on this, it's fairly simple. I'm taking the Packers all day, every day here. I don't think the Bears have it. Even though they are playing in Chicago, I don't think they can manage a win here. So money line, easy Packers. Against the spread, I'm showing Packers favorites by 6. I have them winning by 7. So I'm taking the Packers against the spread as well. 41 was the over-under when I saw it. Total points, I'm getting those only 39. So I think I'm going to take the under on this one. So we've got Packers money line, we've got Packers against the spread, and we've got the under on this one. Jaguars head to Detroit to take on the Lions. This may be the closest we ever get to seeing someone unalived on national television. The Jaguars are not going to have a fun game here in Detroit. Detroit is just ready to smack anyone that shows up in the mouth. They don't care if you're good or bad or whatever. They're just ready to kick the crap out of you. There's not much to say here. Trevor Lawrence already already out. I think that was announced Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember which, but it was pretty early in the week. Trevor Lawrence isn't playing, and I don't think it would have mattered if he did. I don't think you could have the Jaguars, all-star team, greatest players of all time in their prime playing. I don't think they're beating the Lions. Not in Detroit, not this season. So it's pretty simple here. I've got Detroit all the way. Now, I saw them as 13-point favorites, the Lions, when I first looked at it. I think I've seen it as high as 14 now. I did take a look at that. That one, of course, stuck out. I wanted to see what was going on. Now, my model here, my formula, it shows the Jaguars hanging tight and not losing by 13. Actually, it was like it's 10 points. I don't think I can confidently say, Jaguars against the spread, good pick now. And I think the Detroit Lions cover the spread quite easily. I think the spread could probably be 20 or 30. This is not going to be a pretty game. So I feel like money line, definitely Detroit. Against the spread, it's like 13 or 14 points now. It's tough, but I'm going to do it. I think the Lions against the spread here. I'm going to go against my formula because even looking at that, I'm just like, I don't care. Like, the Lions are going to cover that easy. I'm showing 47 was the over-under I looked at. I have a higher total score here, so I'm taking the over. The Lions could cover that themselves, potentially. So I've got Detroit money line, Detroit against the spread, and taking the over. We've got the Raiders heading to Miami to take on the Dolphins here. One thing to keep an eye on, maybe two things, I guess, to keep an eye on. First off, the Raiders are coming off a bye week, so that's always important to keep track of. Second, the Dolphins are coming off a short week because they just played on Monday. So you've got the Raiders coming off a bit of rest, and you've got the Dolphins short week. That's a pretty big deal. However, Raiders are essentially a West Coast team coming all the way East Coast. Always want to keep that in mind as well. I think, though, the Raiders are just too bad for the Dolphins to lose to. Now, obviously, I'll eat those words picking the Dolphins here, but that is where this is going to go. And it is sort of rich of me to say the Raiders are bad when you look at the Dolphins' record, and they're 3-6, 2-7. Both teams appear to be bad. But I do think the Dolphins are probably smidge better than the record, and I find it hard to believe that anybody else disagrees with me on that. But because of the short week, because of the bye week, I think the Raiders can keep this close, and that's where I'm going to go with my next point. So I'm taking the Dolphins money line. I saw the Raiders as 7.5-point underdogs, but I think they cover that. I don't think it'll be a big blowout or anything like that. So I think I like the Raiders against the spread, but I think I'm also going to be taking the under on this one, as the Dolphins on the short week, I guess, and then the Raiders probably a little fresher, can keep up with them a little bit longer and keep it close to that way. So low scoring game here. Dolphins win money line, Raiders against the spread, and I'm taking the under on that one. Rams heading to New England to take on the Patriots. You got the Rams coming off their Monday night loss against the Dolphins. You got the Patriots coming off their big win, 19-3, I think it was, against the Bears. So you've got one team who you think, okay, maybe the Rams have lost a step, maybe the Patriots are heating up. I don't really think that's going to be the case here, though. I am imagining a bit of a close game here. I do think both teams' defenses are better than both teams' offenses, but I think the Rams' offense is going to be the difference here. I think the Rams have a better offense than the Patriots will. Also, if you did watch that Monday night game, the Rams have insane pressure from their defensive line, and if they can get half of what they got against the Dolphins, against the Patriots, with a rookie quarterback back there. Now, I will say, I do think Drake May might be a little bit more mobile than Tua. Tua's not, he's not a statue back there. But May is definitely seems a bit more athletic, in the legs. So maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe that's what I'm saying is, I guess, maybe the Rams were able to get that pressure on Tua because he is more of a pocket passer, just staying there. But maybe they won't send as much pressure because they'll be worried about him rolling out or getting away and beating them with his legs. So if the Patriots can manage that and avoid that pressure, I like them. With that said, I still think I'm going to be taking the Rams here. Moneyline pick, the Rams seem like a better team all around. They just look really good. So moneyline pick, going to be the Rams here, not a problem. I do think maybe it will be a close game. For that, I think I like the Patriots against the spread. Now, I saw they were getting 4.5 points. I only have the Rams winning by 3 points. So for that reason, I'm going to take the Patriots against the spread here. I don't know if that increases anymore. It's definitely a Patriots pick. If it starts to decrease, maybe you start looking at the Rams. managing to cover that -4.5 there. So, but for now, I'm taking the Rams money line, Patriots against the spread, and I think I'll take the under on this one. All right, we've got the Browns heading to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Browns coming off of bye week. Saints coming off one of their first wins in almost 2 months, it seems like. Saints, I don't know, there's something about the Saints, which is just, I always feel like there's this weird mystique about them that they're a better team than they are all the time. I don't know if it's still like Drew Brees is still kind of fresh in my mind, and I just feel like, all those years that he made them an elite team, that they are just still elite. But I mean, they're just not a good team. However, they're getting to play the Browns this week at home. And I do feel like they kind of like their new coach. And you can't really fault a team when a team's ready to rally behind somebody. It's tough to pick against them. I'm not going to pick against the Saints here, mostly because they're playing the Browns. Two bad teams play, you just take the home team, I guess, unless you know something or feel like one team's really bad. I think both teams are on the same level, so that's why I'm just going to take the Saints here. Money line, though, when I did my research here, it was a 1-point difference. Saints were 1-point favorites. Why even bother? As far as the over-under here, I am taking the under. I feel like the Browns do have, if they have anything, their defense is pretty okay, I suppose. And I just, the Saints are just, Derek Carr is just unfortunately not a good quarterback. I feel like there's just going to be a lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy football here. So I think I'm taking the under. Saints, money line, and, do whatever you want against the spread. If it's only 1 point, why bother? I feel absolutely spoiled this week. We've got Packers-Bears. We've got Commanders-Eagles. Now Ravens-Steelers. This is awesome. This is the kind of week of football where you don't want to miss anything. But we've got the Ravens heading to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers in one of my all-time favorite games. I don't care if it's 3-0. I don't care if it's 6-3, 9-6. I want to see that because these two teams play such good football against each other. The Steelers, I still think maybe one of the best teams in the AFC. I mean, it's hard not to say the same about the Ravens, though. As far as how I'm looking at it, it's tough. It really is. The Ravens' defense has not been as good as it used to be, or as you might be used to them being. So I would keep an eye on that here. The Steelers seem like all around a good team, but I don't feel like anything sticks out for them. Russell Wilson to George Pickens seems like the type of connection that a team needs to really make a long push into the playoffs. That could really hurt the Ravens. I mean, you saw what Burrow and Chase just did to him. Now you get Russell Wilson thrown to George Pickens. It could get, it could be a bit of a scoring game, a high-scoring game here. So I feel like money line-wise, I want to take the Steelers here, mostly because if there is one thing between the two offenses and the two defenses that I do not like, it's the Ravens' defense. And I think the Steelers' defense will be good enough to maintain the Ravens' defense, or offense rather, to keep it close and then ultimately win near the end. How is this game not a primetime game, mind you? Like, not Sunday night, not Monday Night Football. This deserves that spot. Now, as I said, I'm taking the Steelers money line against the spread. This is a tough one. If I'm taking the Steelers money line, I'm taking the Steelers because they're also 3-point underdogs here. So against the spread, I'm taking the. If you're gonna give me the team I think that's gonna win 3 extra points, might as well take it, right? So Steelers against the spread. I'm also gonna take the over on this, which is crazy. Ravens Steelers. I imagine if you look through their history, you're not gonna see a lot of games covering the over. But I think they do go over. I think honestly, I believe, through all of my research, this was the furthest one that got over what the over was set out. And I think we could see a high-scoring Ravens and Steelers game here. So I'm, like I said, Steelers money line, Steelers against the spread, and I'll take the over. The Vikings get another easy game as they go to Tennessee to take on the Titans. So they just had the Jaguars. Now they got the Titans. Vikings get to pad their record a little bit more. I don't think the Vikings are it. I really just don't. I think as soon as they start to play a good team, you're going to see how good of a team they really are. But I do think the Vikings are good enough to beat bad teams. In this instance, they are playing the Tennessee Titans, who I do believe to be a bad team. So there's not much really to say about this other than Vikings money line. My calculations tell me Titans keep it close, and they're 6-point underdogs. So they're going to be given 6 points. Honestly, the Jaguars were able to keep against the spread on them as well. So I don't see a problem here to take the Titans against the spread. 6 points against the Vikings. Why not? So give me moneyline Vikings. Give me against the spread Titans. As far as the over-under, I believe we'll take the under on this one as well. Colts head to New York to take on the Jets. If you have managed to watch any of my last week's videos, you should know at this point that I am completely done with the Jets. I try to watch the Aaron Rodgers interview on Pat McAfee's show before I do my picks, just to see what he has to say, see what's going on, see if I can't get into the mind of the Jets a little bit more. Every single week, he does a great job at making me think, you know what? I believe in the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers. I got to stop doing it, though. I got to stop doing it. So Colts, Jets, what do we got here? I think the Colts do win. I think the Jets defense isn't as good as people have thought. I think a lot of people I think feel like the Jets defense kept them in some games and were the reason that the Jets had a chance to win when they did. I don't think that's the case. I don't think the Jets defense is as good as we think it is. And if you don't think it's good, then good for you. But Anthony Richardson just got today, and this is being recorded Wednesday night, just got introduced back as starting quarterback for the Colts. And I think he's going to be playing. I don't know if he's going to maintain quality quarterback play, but I bet he plays good here. So that's why I'm going to take the Colts money line here. Now, against the spread, the Jets are favorites. I don't know why Vegas wants to continue to do that. I guess maybe because they're at home, and the Colts aren't a good team. Aren't that good of a team, I'll say. So I like the Colts I like the Colts money line. The Colts are the underdog, so if you're going to give me an extra 4 points, I'll go ahead and take them against the spread as well. And I think we'll take the under on this one because both offenses just seem like they don't want to do anything. If either offense does do anything, it would be the Jets, I think. And I don't think they've got enough in them to score, enough to help cover this over. So I'll take the under on that one as well. Falcons head to Denver to take on the Broncos. Falcons coming off a disappointing loss against the Saints. Broncos coming off, what a loss against the Chiefs. They nearly did it, nearly dethroned Super Bowl champions who haven't lost at all this season. Nearly did it, but that blocked field goal, of course. Now, I spoke to an Atlanta Falcon fan, and they don't believe in their Falcons. 6-4, just lost to the Saints. Reasonable to think that maybe the Saints are a bit of fool's gold. The Broncos, the weird thing about the Broncos, let's put their last 2 games into perspective here real quick. First off, they got absolutely taken to the woodshed, boat raced, whatever you want to call it, by the Ravens. The Ravens just came and smacked them around. Then, they were just a field goal away from beating the Chiefs. Then if you think about it, week 1, the Chiefs beat the Ravens. So what's even going on there in Denver? What I think is going on is they're a well-coached team that just doesn't quite have the talent needed to turn the well-coached team into a powerhouse team. So I think that's why you see these inconsistent results. However, I do believe their defense is really good. I think they're at home, and I think they're playing a team that they're good, but are they like top-tier elite? I kind of like the Broncos here. But, and the big but here, I really like Bijan starting to just roll through teams. And I think having a solid run game, it goes a long way in winning football games. It really does. So it kind of, it's close. And that's why I'm sitting here trying to figure out who I want to take in the moment. Because I have it a 1-point game. I have a 2-point spread. I've got the over and under is so close to the set line here. So I think we're going to take the Falcons. I think I'll pull the trigger on the Falcons here. I think against the spread, the Falcons are underdogs. So we'll take the Falcons against the spread as well. Over under, I think it's got to be the under. The Broncos do have a good defense. So if the game goes the way I think, it probably won't be a huge high scoring game. And the Falcons can't carry it on their own if they do end up blowing out the Broncos, right? So with my logic, we'll take the Falcons money line, Falcons against the spread, and we'll take the under. A lot of unders so far. All these division games, all these big important games, and yet another one right here in front of us, Seattle, San Francisco. We've got the Seahawks heading to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. 49ers are starting to look good, and that's bad news for everyone else, especially in their division. Seahawks don't seem like the team that beats good teams. They seem like a team that beats bad teams only. And we've got the 49ers, who I think is a good team and are even better now that McCaffrey's back and apparently perfectly healthy. Seemed like he had a normal game. They didn't have to ease him in anything. He just rolled him out and said, run the ball, and he did. I think it's a pretty easy decision here. I like the San Francisco 49ers. However, the spread here is crazy, 6.5 points. Division game like that, I don't feel like the Seahawks will let the 49ers beat them by a touchdown. So I really like the Seahawks against the spread here. And the over-under, I mean, just like the rest of these games, I have a lot of unders this week. This feels like, to me, a big defensive showdown almost. You know, they're both offenses are okay. I think the 49ers obviously have a better offense. So, you know, for that reason, we'll take the 49ers money line, we'll take the Seahawks against the spread, and we'll take the under again. Maybe, just maybe, if we could find the biggest game of the week. I mean, there's so many to choose from. We've got the Thursday night game. We've got Steelers-Ravens. Packers, Bears, I guess technically this season isn't the biggest game. It's just a big rivalry, of course. So maybe, toss it in there just as far as nostalgic reasons. We've got the Chiefs going to Buffalo to take on the Bills, 9-0, 8-2. This is AFC East championship potential showdown right here. And we're getting to watch it here in week 11. So what do we like here? Well, the Bills are favorites by 2.5 points. And you know what? I think for me they are as well. I think I'm taking the Bills to beat the Chiefs this week. I think the Chiefs will finally lose their first game. I think I did just say in my last video that it was going to be tough for me to take the pick against the Chiefs until they lost a game. But I think the Chiefs barely beating the Broncos is probably giving me enough doubt that the Bills, who I believe are a better team than the Broncos, can finally get this done here. So money line, we're taking the Bills. Now the spread. Well, guess what? I think I have the spread at 2.5. So the Bills 2.5 favorites here, and I think they cover it. I think the Bills will cover that spread at home, and I think this game goes way over. So I think you're seeing the Bills money line, you're seeing the Bills against the spread, and I've got the over on this one. That seems like a ballsy pick to make. You got the defending undefeated Super Bowl champions. How can you just go all like that against them? But I'm going to do it. So one last time, we got Bills money line, Bills against the spread, and I'm taking the over. I think I maybe just said it to try and convince myself that I actually believe it. We'll see how that goes. Our Sunday night matchup sees the Bengals head to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. I think this is an important game here because I think the Chargers are really starting to prove they're a good team. And I think the Bengals really need to stop losing if they want to make the playoffs. And I do think the Bengals are good enough to be a playoff team. Now, how do I think the game's going to go? I think it's going to be a very close one. I really do. Chargers are a good football team. The thing is, though, they are playing a good football team, even though it doesn't look like it with their record. So, who do we take? Tough game to pick. I'm going to take Chargers money line. Chargers against the spread. We'll just say they cover. And then I'll take the over on this one. I don't know why, but I have this feeling this could be a bit of a shootout. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, you might just see the ball going up and down the field. It's Sunday Night Football, and I feel like the last few Sunday nights have been kind of drab. So maybe they'll maybe they'll tell the referees to let a few things go and get the offenses going. Who knows? But again, last time, Chargers, both money line and against the spread, and I'm taking the over on this one. Our final game of the week sees the Texans head to Dallas to take on the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Now, there's a few things we need to consider here. First off, the Cowboys are bad at football. They are absolute booty cheeks. They may not win another game this season. The second thing we got to consider is this is Monday Night Football, which means no sun should be there to bother the Cowboys. So maybe they play a little better than they do when the sun is out. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But the biggest point here that I want to make, the Texans did just get done playing the Lions, and as you should know, if you've been paying attention to my previous videos, there's a tax that comes with playing the Lions. The Texans have to pay that tax now. So, does that mean the Cowboys are going to win at home, at night, on Monday Night Football? No. The Texans will win. So, just to recap, Monday Night Football, no sun, Cowboys bad, Texans just played the Lions. So Texans win against the money line, Cowboys win against the spread, and I'll take the under. All right, there's all my picks. Nothing I can do about it now. Those are final and done. We'll see how I do. I'm really nervous. I feel like against money line games, I'm good. I'm fairly certain I know who's going to win and who's going to lose pretty accurately. We start throwing this spread stuff in there, and I'm not looking forward to seeing how bad I did. We start throwing the under-over in there. I'm not looking forward to how off I am on all that. But we'll see how my formula does. If it's awful, we'll tweak it, see what we can do, and we'll go from there. But I can't thank you enough for watching. If you could, perhaps, kindly like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 500 followers on this channel, 500 subscribers, whatever they call it on YouTube. I don't even know. I think it's subscribers. We're so close to 500. That'd be so huge. I can't even believe that we're over 400 at this point because I think I started this week 2 of this season and we're almost to 500. And that's just insane to me. So thank you so much to the 430 people as of this video who have subscribed to the channel. I can't thank any of you all enough. And thank you to whoever might hit that button from this point forward. But again, very close to 500. If you could help me get it, I'd really appreciate it. Please like the video, comment down below, tell me which games I got wrong. I want to hear it. I love talking about football, and this is your chance to talk to somebody else about football. Leave me a comment, and we'll talk football. We'll talk football until you don't want to talk football. But either way, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and you take it easy.